you would like to learn how to plaster as a beginner, then you're in the right place.
Hi, I'm Sophie and I'm transforming our 1930s box room into a dream ensuite. And with the help of my husband, we're doing it all ourselves and learning as we go.
Plastering can be a massive expense if you're doing a renovation. You're talking, we got quotes for 10 grand to plaster the whole of our 3-bedroom semi-detached house. But the problem is, it's quite a hard skill to master. I've found that it is one of those things that you either kind of have the knack for it or you don't. I'm quite creative. I know this sounds really bizarre, but I used to make cakes, and getting a cake smooth I find is quite similar to plastering or skimming a wall. So I'm okay with it. But Lawrence, on the other hand, my husband, has tried plastering and skimming and it didn't go so well with the same knowledge. But I do believe that with practice, if you have a lot of walls that you're okay with trying out on, and maybe the first 2 or 3 or 4 aren't needing to be perfect, anyone can master this skill. So in our ensuite, the next job is to kind of get the walls plastered and start putting everything back together now. So we have one wall in front of me that is drywall, so that whole thing just needs skimming. And then we have 2 original walls, the window wall and the one behind, and then this wall is getting completely tiled, so we don't need to worry about that for now. So the first thing that you need to do is prep your walls for skimming. So in terms of tools, you will need to invest in some certain tools to be able to do any sort of plastering. The basic tools that you will need is one of these things. I actually don't know what it's called. Don't know what it's called, but they're relatively cheap, maybe £10 from B&Q. The other thing you really want to invest in is a good trowel. You cannot get a good wall if you don't have a good trowel. So the one I have is the OX Ultraflex 16 inches. There you go. And I find this is a good size, it gets a good finish. All round would recommend. These are maybe a bit more expensive if you're talking about maybe £40–50 for one of these. The other tool that I would very much recommend is a Speedskim, also by Ox. You can get these in like a lot bigger than this. I don't know what sizes, but you can get them a lot bigger than this. But I find these are very good for getting big walls flat quickly, because speed is your friend when you're plastering. So with one of these, you can go smush along the whole wall really easy. If anything, I would probably like to get a big one of these. Very, very good tool. Another tool that I have no idea on the name is one of these, but this is used to mix your plaster and your bonding, whatever you're using, and without this it's going to be very hard to quickly get a mix up without having bits in it. You want a really smooth multi-finish, and this is just perfect for that. I'll demo it later. The thing you absolutely need is buckets, and multiple of them. So you want one bucket to make your mix in. You always want a bucket of clean water on hand to wash your tools, because nobody likes dry plaster on their tools. Another fabulous product which is going to help beginners, and this video is very much aimed at beginner friendly, so you might not get the same recommendations for a plasterer who does this for a living, but for a beginner, you can get these extra time sachets on Amazon, and they slow down the process, the drying process. So if you're a beginner, you are going to take longer to get the plaster on the wall, and you're going to take longer to get it smooth, flat, etc. This will allow you to have that extra time that a plasterer who does it for a living doesn't need. And in terms of product, I use British Gypsum, is it? And I use the purple bonding coat to patch any holes like this, and then I use the orange multi-finish to skim with, and they are the only 2 products that I'm going to use today. The first thing you want to do is make sure your walls are clean, which in my case they are. We've got a little bit of tape that we need to remove. And you also at this stage want to make sure that none of your original plaster is blown or coming off the wall. So mine is all pretty good here. So You can use like a scraper or something. If you just get a scraper along that, none of that is coming off for me. But if your top layer of plaster is coming off easily, you probably need to get rid of it. Sorry.
We use PVA before applying bonding plaster to help the plaster stick properly to the wall. It kind of acts like a primer, so it seals in any dust and stops the wall from sucking all the moisture out of the plaster too quickly, which means that it's less likely to dry out too quick and crack. You want to do this whenever you're applying bonding or multi-finish, unless it's a plasterboarded wall. Then we move on to the bonding. So bonding plaster is what you would use to build out any uneven surfaces or big gaps like I've got before your top coat of plaster. It's great because it kind of sticks to anything, so it's really good for use like on brick, like I'm using it here, and it gives you a really nice solid base to skim onto. When you're mixing it, you want to add the plaster to the water, not the other way around, and aim for a smooth, thick, kind of texture. This is where I use my trusty paddle mixer, so take your time mixing it and make sure there's no lumps in the mix. Also, this stuff does set fairly quickly, so don't hang about once it is mixed. You want to move quite quickly. Then it is time to get it on the wall, and as my hole here is particularly deep, I work in 2 layers here. First, I get a solid base layer on, I press it into the wall and stick it to the PVA, and do not worry about this being perfect at all, just cover the surface evenly. And then once it is set, we then come back with a second layer to fill in any gaps and smooth things out. Using a trowel is also something that might feel a little bit weird at first, but if you hold your trowel at 45-degree angle to the wall, it might be a little bit easier. Then my next tip is keeping everything clean is key to a smooth finish. So you always want to make sure that you wipe your trowel down regularly to avoid dragging dried plaster and leaving a mess. And it also makes cleanup easier later on, saving you time and getting mad. I won't lie though, the cleanup is always the worst bit about plastering. Then refill your bucket with fresh water on the way up, and we're ready for coat 2. Coat 2 can go on when your first layer is starting to feel firm to the touch and it's not gooey anymore. Then for the second layer, I repeat exactly the same steps as I did before. I'm just using a smaller bucket here because I know that I'm not going to need as much bonding. So let's clean up. It's probably worth clarifying that this time round you don't need the PVA, it's only to the fresh wall. And once the hole is filled, we then kind of run the trowel up and down the wall so that we know that it is then flush with the existing wall, ready for skim.
So now all of the holes that need to be filled, all the electricians and the plumbing's bit, all the bit down here that needed to be filled, is all patched up. So this wall is pretty much ready for skimming. But if I turn to this wall, we have some edges here. So whenever you have an outside corner, you want to use an angle bead. Otherwise, your corner will just be shit, if I'm honest. So your angle bead, which is what this is, will enable you to get a really sharp corner. And I'll show you how to install them now.
So the first thing I do is cut my angle beads to size. And I cut them so that they come to a point at the end rather than straight across. I just find that this helps them meet neatly in the corners and reduces the risk of cracking later on. Then once they're cut, I apply the bonding plaster directly to the back of the bead, not the wall. Again, I don't think this is standard practice, but I find it gives me more control and keep things tidier. And you want to apply a decent amount of bonding, but not too much so that it squidges out of everywhere. A little bit of slop is okay. And then you just press the bead into place, lining it up at the corners, and make sure you just take your time here, because if the corners aren't perfect now, they'll be noticeable once it's plastered. And don't forget the PVA step if you're plastering on anything that isn't plasterboard. And these steps are specific for what I am working with right now, but if, for example, I was doing this on a plasterboard wall, you can kind of use staples instead of the bonding, so it might vary depending on what your wall conditions are. And then I go in with a wet paintbrush to clean up any excess bonding and get the finish nice and neat.
Now we tape.
Scrim tape might not look like much, but it's a bit of a lifesaver. It helps to stop cracks forming where boards or patches meet. So I'm putting this over any of the plasterboard joins, but I'll also put it on any corners where plasterboard meets original wall, or if I have any cracks in the wall or anything that there might be some movement and it might show through the top layer over time. And it is self-adhesive, so it's really easy to use. You just press it down and avoid any folds or bubbles. It's one of those quick little jobs that really makes a big difference once you're skimming. And that is our walls prepped, ready for skimming, hopefully maybe tomorrow or later on this week. So please do come back to check out that video and any updates on our ensuite journey.
And we're all done. Ready to be skimmed. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe. Probably not.